All right, I got to take some time to address.
Time they say I'm insane. It's the point at which I'm saying reality oak. I must set aside some margin to address this slope jump into the spectacular universe of Hollywood, where the roads are fixed with excitement, and the nights are loaded up with privileged insights. Steve Harvey, the ruler of giggling and expert of sentiment guidance, is as of now enveloped with the strings of a turbulent adventure. The dramatization fixates on his sovereign Marjorie, whose supposed dalliances are sending shockwaves, as well as having a throw-down good time. And when we say dalliances, we mean asserted minutes with two of Steve's most faithful partners. Gracious goodness, hey everybody, and welcome back to Secret Life Channel. It's the ideal opportunity for some quite hot tattle served new. There are no genuine insider facts in Tinseltown, those clandestine grins at glitz slams and murmur trades behind velvet ropes. Anybody with a style for show can recognize them well in advance. Kindly welcome the chick of my fantasies. My better half, Marjorie the Word on Nightfall Lane, is about Marjorie's supposed sprouting closeness with Steve's head of safety, and support yourselves his confidential culinary wizard bits of hearsay. Recommend the Guardians nearly become her second shadow, while the gourmet specialist probably is concocting something other than scrumptious rarities in the Harvey family. Currently enter the scene, Kanye West, the gold digger. Maestro past murmurs have it that the West-Harvey relationship has been tense, with Kanye purportedly holding resentment from quite a while back, when Steve offered some off-the-cuff relationship counsel. Recall when Kanye said, "I won't acknowledge others' thoughts of satisfaction for me," as though there's no one-size-fits-all norm for joy sources. Guarantee it was an immediate dig at Steve. After a confidential discussion, they had used the remainder of your existence, with is the absolute most significant choice you will at any point make, in light of the fact that your other half will either to thicken the plot. Kanye chose to turn up the intensity for certain puzzling tweets, saw what was stowed away from generally all, while our country's varieties moved in the breeze he enigmatically shared, sending the two fans and enemies into a disentangling furor. Sharp fans drew an obvious conclusion, pointing towards a dubious photo of Marjorie. She's seen dressed provocatively, with the stars and stripes streaming terrifically behind her. An inside source referenced Kanye was profoundly frightened by that picture. He once pronounced, "You can't take a gander at a glass half full or void." Assuming it's spilling over, he felt this image was a flood of dauntlessness, scrutinizing the upsides of present-day America, not one to avoid putting himself out there. Kanye further filled the fire in an extemporaneous radio meeting. He alluded to Steve's supposed carelessness, to the continuous dramatization in his own chateau, unobtrusively proposing the moderator may be excessively self-required to see strains between the West and Harvey tribes arrived at their pinnacle when the two families wound up situated contiguously at the Grammys. Observers detailed cold trades, with Kanye's piercing glares being met with Steve's harsh demeanors. It turned into the go-head to head of the 100 years with the media, conjecturing an unstable showdown. Soon that is a harmful relationship, Steve being the wistful and glad patriarch, at last tended to the tempest, pulling from his repository of shrewdness. He helped everybody to remember a statement he once shared: "Don't loathe the player, change the game," recommending that maybe the brutal guidelines of Hollywood have everybody tangled in this curved trap of tattle, and not individual crimes, as Hollywood anticipates the following section in this adventure. We marvel, will harmony be handled, or will the city of holy messengers prepare for a legendary confrontation between its monsters? The truth will surface eventually, yet Marjorie, the exemplification of effortlessness and tastefulness, stays quiet in the midst of the mountains. By rumors, companions in her internal buzz around anyway indicate her personal unrest. One buddy murmured, "Marjorie feels like she's under a magnifying lens. She trusted one picture, and the world paints a story." Might these embarrassments at any point discolor Steve's sparkling standing as the guide of adoration exhortation? An old meeting of his Razorf houses, uncovering a strong assertion Each man has a limit a second, when you should pay the piper, yet recollect each tempest has a rainbow matched with this contention. Encompassing the starlight roads of Hollywood, everybody's look is fixed upon the Harvey house, anxious to get the following demonstration in this enchanting show similarly. As when Steve and I got together, he had an entire nother thought of what he was anticipating doing after his separation. He was presently prepare yourselves, dears murmurs from the Hollywood recommend Marjorie may be thinking about offering a man to her right around 16-year-long married euphoria. And assuming you believe everything unquestionably revolves around broken hearts, there's more allegedly, she has her eyes on a sizable lump of Steve's Titanic $300 million fortune. How about we first say that you shouldn't feel remorseful for anything diving into the chronicles of their romantic tale? Our sources report that the stars previously preferred Steve and the brilliant Marjorie back in the dynamic 90s of Child. Where did I meet you, gracious? Whenever we first met Memphis, we're at a parody club. Anyway, ways veered exclusively to fortunately join again in 2005. Furthermore, what's affection without a sprinkle of show? In the midst of a tornado of feelings and choices, they traded promises in 2007, a current fantasy. Maybe, however, with its portion of turns presently, here's the million-dollar question: who precisely is William Large Blast Freeman, the purported viral guardian? As bits of gossip whirl, a few tempting realities about this strange man have surfaced. The most surprising disclosure: this wasn't simply any recruited muscle he played the go-between for the Harveys back in 2005. I met her 86-87 when the tune came out, then God Gave It Back to Me in 2005. Toss in with the general mishmash a few clandestine Hollywood social occasions where Marjorie and Huge Blast were supposedly seen charmed in profound discussion, and you have a recipe for an unstable story. With so many entwining stories, Hollywood's first class is a buzz hanging tight with goated breath for the following disclosure. The show is just getting everything rolling as we dig further into enormous Blast's virtual impressions. Think Facebook Insights. We uncover some very fascinating relationship chunks. Ever the savvy, ye pondered, I believe sweethearts should understand that when you're enamored and carrying on with a criminal way of life, you can't spill every one of your mysteries. At some crossroads the sentiment could hit a tangle, and there is no wrath known to man like a darling disdained they can transform into an amplifier for all your quieted admissions. So think long and hard about you murmur those dearly held secrets. Yet the man wasn't finished giving out shrewdness. In another sincere reflection, Large Blast believed excellence frequently hides misery, be it rich chedda's stylish vehicles or enthralling people. We're so focused on the veneer, unmindful of the injuries inside behind those monumental entryways. Could be a broken soul. The glimmering vehicle could house a tortured soul. And underneath the appeal of a lady could prowl significant isolation. Changing gears to Steve, the television financier tended to the rising tempest during a new morning show. However, with extraordinary civility, he cunningly evaded pointing fingers, yet communicative certifiable trouble over his friends and family being hauled into this tireless media free for all. Steve Harvey, once the brilliant kid of giggling stuffed nights and healthy family diversion, currently finds his name entangled in contentions, past being the television maestro Steve's ragged many caps from divulging stylish menswear assortments to being the substance of a few high-profile brands. His undertakings range wide, yet these wild times are creating a shaded area over his numerous triumphs. Insiders from the Money Road Insider Clue to add a discernible hesitance among significant brands to re-ink manages Steve. One industry savant commented Steve Harvey's own life debates have prompted potential brand disintegration. Organizations like to not gamble with relationship during such violent times. Yet it's not all turbulent skies for the Harvey domain. A birdie from Steve's company alludes to another endeavor in the offing, a stage committed to exploring individual difficulties Appears as though Steve's making awesome out of a harsh circumstance. Perhaps he's composing some VIP lemonade from those sharp lemons. In the midst of the individual disarray, Marjorie has been looking for comfort in selfless Rhodes murmurs around Hollywood, proposes she's focusing on enhancing her charitable endeavors, conceivably laying out an establishment committed to supporting ladies post-separate from a demonstration of strength or journey for mending one way or the other. She's transforming torment into reason. On the flip side, Steve has all the earmarks of being peering toward a change in his expert direction. Buzz is that he's in early discussions for a narrative series, an explorative task, highlighting the multifaceted existences of Tinseltown's tip-top